kind of want to fill you guys in because during the last stream, I got a phone call about a potential job interview. Um, I went to the interview and it went great. I, I take that back. Let me redact that. I feel like it went great. I think it went great. I'm not gonna say it did go great, but um, we'll find out on Friday. They'll let me know on Friday if I got the job or not. Um, it was pretty interesting. I did leave everything on the table. I was honest. I was sincere, and I kind of answered all the questions and all the doubts. And I think honestly, if I had to metaphorically speak on it, like if I gave answers kind of like if I looked it up on Chat GPT, and if they had a Chat GPT detector, that's how I answered their questions. Like I didn't literally do that, but I gave them like the best answers to the questions they had. It was a little bit awkward. Okay, first of all, my anxiety was through the roof. I was kind of like trying to make it seem like I was confident and not really panicking, but in my mind I had a crisis. But yeah, it just didn't coincide. Like I didn't show that to them. Okay, it was like an out of body experience, honestly. Like my brain was panicking. It was kind of like Inside Out too, but just with like anxiety and everything bad instead of the good characters. But yeah, they were asked like the general questions you get asked in an interview. Tell me about yourself. Um, Not a good start because I was like, oh yeah, my name's my name's Ronnie. I'm 28. I'm a type 1 diabetic. And then I froze and I was like, yeah, is there any questions you have or any curiosities or like I don't know. I don't really like talking about myself. Yeah, I kind of disassociated honestly. My body just froze and I was panicking inside, but it's kind of like when they say, "Oh, my brain's telling me something, but it doesn't my mouth doesn't relay the message." It was like my body was like panicking and I was anxious, but I was just like giving confident answers and stuff. But I was kind of not trying to sound confident, cocky, and like a egotistical like prick, basically. But I don't know. I don't know how they took the answers I was giving. I think it went well, and I only say that because every time I answered the interviewer's questions, they would smile. They would smile, or they would like, I don't know. I think they liked the answers I was giving. So hopefully, fingers crossed, that's exactly how it went down. But maybe they were kind of laughing and grinning because they sensed that I was like a little anxious or whatever. I don't know. I don't know. I tried my best. Okay. And any answers any questions they had, like for example, they asked like, "Oh, tell me about a time where someone gave you negative feedback." And I was like, "Oh, in my last job, my previous job, I didn't really get negative feedback. Besides, like when I first started out, I needed to learn a couple things, and the previous manager, before the last one, kind of told me like, "Hey, learn what you have to do." But I improved like that. I don't know. It not exactly that, but in the best way possible. And then she was like, "Oh, um, tell me a moment where you clashed with like a coworker." And I was like, "I don't really crash. Like, I'm a very pacifist person, very patient dude, and I kind of check in with the managers, the general manager, the coworkers, and I try to help out as much as possible. I help out in other departments, not just mine, and I try to just alleviate pressure because I view it as a team and kind of like a machine basically. So like if one gear is clogged up, that messes up the whole flow of everything. So I gave answers like that, and they were like chuffed basically with those. I don't know how else to describe it. I think chuffed in like England means like they were very happy with that answer. But yeah, it just went up like that. Like every curiosity or doubt they had, I would just shoot it down. Boom, boom. And then I was also honest. I say I was honest and sincere because I did tell them about why I left my last job. I told them straight up. I told them straight up. I said I didn't feel comfortable working directly under the assistant manager because he did this and he went behind the general manager's back, and it was like that. And she was like, "Ooh, that sucks." And I was like, "Yeah, but that's I'm unemployed. I need to find income, and so whatever. I don't know." I try to kind of soothe their doubts, or I don't know, but I feel like it went well. So as I said, Friday they'll let me know. um and also I told her as well, like she was like, "Oh, the reason why I'm trying to find um people for this job is because we're looking for someone reliable, someone that's flexible, someone that is like, I have a lot of people that call out, blah blah blah." And I was like, "Oh, I totally understand because I use like previous experiences. Like I used to work security for an airline, and I was the lead, so a lot of people would call out and I'd be like, "Oh yeah, I understand because at this job I had to deal with this." So she's like, "Oh, okay, yeah." And I was like, "Oh, if it puts your mind at ease, I am very reliable and dependent because I don't live too far. I don't live too far. I always show up on time. I actually show up earlier than whatever." So yeah, I was doing that, and also I ended and concluded with, I know it's part of the interview process for me to evaluate how I did in my last workplace, but if you still have any doubts or curiosity, um, here's a number to my old general manager, and you can ask him directly. Um, and yeah, she was like, "Oh yeah, I will definitely call him and stuff." So I don't know if he got that call, but yeah, as I said, I left everything on the table. Hopefully it goes well because streaming is my passion, but it doesn't pay the bills, unfortunately. So I need a 9 to 5, and hopefully I can balance it. But yeah, if you listed references, they should confirm all that. If they check references, yeah. So I gave my old general manager's phone number. I'm not sure, honestly. I Based on our previous conversations, hopefully it goes well. But yeah, I don't really want to think about that. I don't want to think about, oh, did they call him? What is he gonna say? Is he really gonna be on my side, or is because that's not up to me. I tried my best already, and I'm not gonna really think about it further until Friday. But fingers crossed, as I said, and I think I'm blessed. Yeah, and then I basically, oh, I also ended by telling her to. I was like, "Oh yeah, I read like the job description, but I want to clarify to see the responsibilities. There is a lot of potential to move up, so that's something that's very good for me because I am determined, obviously. But yeah, she like she was shocked. She was surprised by that question, and she basically filled me in. Um, and yeah, I just feel good about it. I felt confident. Um, yeah, yeah, yeah. So I don't know. She said, "Oh, there's multiple candidates, and I'll let you know by Friday if you get it." So here we go.